change.
Bye bye. I started showing up, bruh. Anybody in here? Oh, it's Rat God. Well, at least it's somebody to come battle. An Anvil Arrow. Ah, nice little warm up here.
Check fire. Shields hit. Check fire. Check fire. Check fire. Check fire.
Oh,
Check fire.
there we go. Advance to contact. Red knows now, so be pretty damaged for this next fight.
Check fire. Check fire. Shields hit. Check fire. Check fire. Check fire.
Ho 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 ho. Oh man, I love this, dude. I love just coming in and just chilling and just going through the motions and just getting that little bit of time in the seat every day, you know? Go again, Rat.
Check fire. Shields hit. Check fire. Check fire. Check fire.
Yeah, so Rat God plays in a certain style where he plays what, like I said, but hyper kiting, right? So I'm gonna explain hyper kiting here on stream so that you guys understand the style differences, right? Okay, so typically what you see in most fights that you see me doing is I have the arrow. No, it doesn't look like that. That's an arrow. You know. There you go. There's your obligatory penis. Okay, so a lot of times what'll happen is you'll be chasing a target, right? So typically you'll have another guy in an arrow, something like this. You know, there's the arrow, there's the engine, right? And you'll go into a pattern, right? So you'll go into a movement pattern like this, and you guys go into a rate fight, and you'll kind of just keep going around each other, until eventually one of you kills each other, right? And that's your typical kind of dogfight, close range, roll into your shots, just go for the rate fight, and then manage your power and manage your shots, right? But sometimes you get guys that want to go, who don't want to get close to you. Like they're like, no, I don't want to get close and get into the close range dogfight, right? So what happens is you have to fight inside the bubble versus these guys. Because what happens if you zoom out and you imagine yourself, let's say this is your arrow here, right? And there's the enemy arrow here. He's going to come in at a really wide pattern, right? So he's going to be circling around you, and he's most likely going to be circling in a pattern like this, okay? So what happens for you is, let's say we're approaching this direction. We want to get close. We want to get the distance between him and I, you know, a little closer, because we want to close the distance. And so what we're going to do is we're going to slowly move our way up to him as we track him, right? So at this point during the turn, when he's at the maximum of his range, like right here, so let's say he's at 800 meters, and then he starts to crest his turn to come back to you, that's when you could start using a little bit of boost and close the distance between him and you to, like, I don't know, 400 or 100 or whatever, right? So what people need to figure out, though, is you're not going to stay in that range. A lot of times guys will continue to try to accelerate away and they'll keep closing distance, right? But this point here, what you want to do is, you'll see me doing this, is I'll kind of snake my way up towards him, you know? Because my pip's going to go up to here, and it's going to go here, you know, then it's going to be, you know, it's going to be not jumping, but it's going to cause him to continuously be aiming here, then here, then here, then here. It's going to cause him to make a lot of movements to try to track what's going on. And the farther he's away, and the smaller my movements are, and the more precise they are as I move towards my target, he's going to miss most of his shots. But here's the trick. I'm going to hit most of my shots, because what's happening is he's got so much energy built up. I know where he's going to be in the next little bit. You know, so his flight path becomes very predictable, whereas mine becomes much more difficult to track because I'm slowly moving my way in with small motions, right? Because the farther I am away, all I need to do is just move a little bit to miss the shot, and then move back over here, then up, and then down, and then to the left, and all the shots are going to be shooting around me, and I'm going to corkscrew into my target. Whereas this guy is going to be on the outside of the bubble. So if you were to imagine like an imaginary bubble, I'm inside this little bubble playing inside this movement sphere, and he's outside of it trying to shoot into it. But because I'm making more movements in a smaller space as I do this, he's going to be on the outside getting shot to pieces. And now with the shield effects and all that stuff, once he's within that 1,000 meter engagement zone, you know, his choice of style here is at a slight disadvantage, right? Now, most guys will try to just run towards them as hard as they can all the time. And what you have to do is you have to just be patient, let him crest his turn, right? And then scoop in on him when he does that, you know? Now, let's say you got a guy that is in a full back strafe kind of style, right? So not only does he do this, but then as soon as you get close to him, he cuts the angle, he starts going back the other way, right? What you have to do is don't get angry, just track him and keep slowly tracking him, but keep the distance of your movements. If you were to draw a line, like, you know, in like a little cone here, you're inside this little imaginary cone, okay? And you're slowly barrel rolling towards your target, okay? Because what he's going to end up doing is he's going to make these bigger, longer movements, and the bigger, longer movements he's making, then the more energy it takes, the more time it takes, the more boost he has to use, and all that stuff. And you'll slowly keep, you know, like zooming in towards him, right? And don't forget, if he can hit you, you can hit him, right? So that's how to deal with a hyperkiter. Now, it doesn't work every time, because obviously it comes down to an aim duel. You know, a big portion of that fight is how to apply damage, but you can be at a mechanical advantage by wasting less energy and moving slowly as you move towards them.